So, India have already gotten a golden start on Monday.
Exactly. Great start to Monday.
Monday morning blues.
But no, Monday morning gold.
Gold. Because already you've gotten one gold medal thanks to the men's 10-meter air rifle team event. Now, you could have a second gold coming because it is the final of the women's cricket match between India and Sri Lanka. India are at least assured of silver, but if they win gold,
it'll be historic because again, Asian Games has never held a cricket as an event. First time it's happening, and India would be favorites to win gold for both women and men's. Of course, men's, the event hasn't started yet. That'll start in the beginning of October 3rd. But now onwards, well, the women have already reached the final and in pretty crushing fashion, I may add.
Yeah, I mean, see, in the game against Malaysia, 173 for 2 in 15 overs, but then they just bowled 2 balls and the rain
came.
And that's why, it was a dominant performance. India went through because of a higher ranking. Then in the game against Bangladesh, this Bangladesh team who they had last toured, they had put up a great fight. 2-1, India had won the T20I series.
But it was not close.
It was very, very close.
It was not, let's say, one-sided. Sorry.
Yeah. And the ODIs were 1-1.
Yeah.
But it was a shocking capitulation that they were bowled out for 51. What is it with opposition and Indian bowlers getting them out very cheaply? You saw in the Asia Cup.
Yeah, what is this 50 thing? And also, by the way, this same Bangladesh then went on to clinch bronze.
Bronze by beating Pakistan.
Exactly.
Wow. And Sri Lanka, let us not forget, they had restricted Pakistan to 75 for 9. But then they themselves took close to 17-18 overs to get there by losing 4 wickets.
So I think actually whoever gets to bat first, not going to be a good task because you don't know what a good total is at this point.
Yeah.
You've not seen anything in terms of consistency. Yep. Every team seems to be getting out cheaply. So, you don't really know what that pitch is going to play like.
Exactly. See, Malaysia, even CK PlayStation, how we field, they fielded in that similar way.
In similar vein,
yeah,
right.
They let balls go through, they dropped catches, they misjudged boundaries. So, it was a horror show from Malaysia, and that's the reason. Malaysia, they don't play that much of cricket anyways. Men, women, it's just a ragtag team of amateurs just cobbled together to make sure they are professionals. So that's why we are just awaiting the toss at this time. We hope that there's no rain because remember in the last 2 matches
there has been that
threat. And especially the Malaysia game, it did wash out the game. So
there was no result for the Malaysia game per se because the only reason India made it through there was technicality, although I think once they got 175 it was a formality.
It was a formality. And Sri Lanka, let us talk about this team because look, India-Pakistan, we all expected Asia Cup. Maybe it could be India-Pakistan final. No, Sri Lanka had to play inspired cricket.
You thought the same thing would happen for the Asian Games? No,
they had to ensure that Pakistan put on an even sorrier show than what it was.
Correct.
So, India-Sri Lanka yet again. And on record, if you have to look at, I did the preview yesterday, I had mentioned that India start as the overwhelming favourites for a reason.
Yeah.
23 games that Sri Lanka and India have clashed in T20Is, India has won 18 of them. Only 4 wins for Sri Lanka, and in the last 15 games, 13 have been won by India, 1 loss, 1 no result.
I mean, you think that India versus Sri Lanka in men's cricket, whether it be ODI or T20, is one-sided. The women's side of it is just as one-sided.
Very one-sided.
Just as one-sided.
But take Sri Lanka women's cricket at your own
take them lightly at your own risk.
Don't take them lightly because see, this same Sri Lanka team is coming off a historic T20I series win in England. Beating England in England is not an easy task.
It's not.
Although they may have been a slightly weakened team at this point in time. But no, Sri Lanka have beaten England. They're coming off that confidence. And remember, they have beaten Pakistan as well. So, it is going to be a very, very tricky situation.
And we still don't have a toss update. How is that possible?
Yeah, maybe they'll have a toss at 11:10 or 11:15 maybe. Because, see, for Asian Games, you don't need to have that kind of a thing to do. Maybe you have to have it half an hour. It's just a very small ground, 50.
Very small ground, and of course, we've seen that spinners tend to get just a little bit of something from that pitch. I don't know what it is, but they're getting something out of it.
Although Pooja Vastrakar will deny because she decimated the Bangladesh top order with a swing and seam. And okay, Bangladesh themselves committed harakiri by having 4 runouts as well. 4 wickets and 4 runouts, and it meant they at about 30 for 7 in 10 overs. Just ask our producer Pawan here. We were just scrambling
to
come here because what if I was having that same nightmare. What if in the India-Malaysia game, Malaysia bat first get all for 40?
Yeah.
Oh God, then you have to scramble to come here.
And that's exactly what happened for the Bangladesh.
Oh, man.
You thought maybe Bangladesh would put up some fight, get to like 100. Nope. Not happening.
Nope. And both the games were 6:30 a.m. So you have to be on your toes at that time. Okay, what if it's a collapse? And if we get up at 9:30, we just come. The match is over. Oh God, then you're in for some trouble. So that's why, thankfully, today it's at 11:30 a.m. We should have gotten the toss at this time, but we still are awaiting results for it. But okay, the other major news is that India's talisman Harmanpreet Kaur is back.
Correct.
After serving a 2-match suspension after what she did in Bangladesh.
Oh yeah, the kicking of the stumps, the whole fracas at the post-match, this thing left a pretty ugly taste in a lot of people's mouth, very understandably. I do understand her frustrations, but I do think that the ban that was handed out was a correct decision.
I think she got off very lightly.
Yeah, she did. It could have been a 5-match ban and I don't think we would have had any leg to stand on.
Yes, because I think, see, decisions always go against you. I mean, that's the risk of umpiring. It can go 50% either way, 50% that way. But then, see, with India, what's happened is we have never forgotten the scars of Sydney Gate, the umpiring. We haven't forgotten that at all.
So anytime something happens, your first, let's say, reaction is to scream conspiracy.
Yes. And remember, that match, India lost it primarily because Bangladesh, they collapsed. India collapsed. Jemima's 2 runouts.
Yeah.
Not able to finish, and that's why it's a big problem indeed. So, a lot of worries for Harmanpreet Kaur as far as behavior is concerned, but look, she's back here.
And I think the batting, she'll add plenty of, let's say, steel experience, big match know-how, and already I think India could have been without Harmanpreet for this match, and they'd already be the overwhelming favourites.
Yes.
Adding her right now is just like, okay, adding another layer of, let's say, gold paint.
And remember, the one concern that India have is Smriti Mandhana's form. She's not done well in both the Malaysia games and also in the games against Bangladesh because she seems to struggle on these slow, sluggish decks.
Naturally a slow maker, naturally a stroke maker, tends to struggle a bit against, on spinning tracks.
Yeah, and remember, Huang Zhao's wicket has been very odd in that sense. One day it's flat, the other day it's so sluggish that teams combined in 4 matches of maybe 80 overs, they just notched up a total of 240.
But that's like ODI levels batting and like 1980s and like 1980s ODIs.
Yeah,
that's it.
80 overs at a run rate of 3 in a T20. If you want to promote the global game of T20, it's not going to help in these games.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean if you're talking about T20I being that avenue to, let's say, promote the sport.
Yep.
I don't think showings like this is going to be helping anyone because more often than not the games are getting over very quickly. And it's not even thrilling. It's like one-sided thrashings that you're getting to witness more often than not.
Yeah. So see, the ideal advertisement for the sport would have been India-Pakistan in 2007, the final. That was an ideal way to ensure that, okay, this kind
of... It was gripping.
Yeah, it can exist. So that is why... This kind of cricket, I don't know whether it will appeal to the locals. Although in the India-Malaysia game, there was a fair attendance at the ground at Guangzhou. So that is the current.
How many of them were Indians or Malaysians? Huh?
No, Chinese.
Oh, interesting.
Many of them were Chinese. That's the good part about it. So maybe they are lapping up to cricket in a way.
Warming up just a little bit, sure.
But it's a T20. It's a ODI.
India won the toss.
And I opted to bat.
Bat? Really?
Wow, yes.
Okay, the only logic I can think of to that is that it will get much slower in the second innings. Of course, the advantage with chasing is that you know exactly what you are. Very interesting decision.
Although Sri Lanka in that series against England, they achieved success while chasing.
Exactly.
And the likes of 2 individuals will make a big part in this. Chamari Attapattu. She has been the ultimate player that Sri Lanka has produced. Possibly after Sashikala Shrivardhane. Then you got the off break in Udeshika Prabodhini.
Correct.
She took 4 wickets, and remember that was the main cause why Pakistan struggled to 75 for 9. And then you have the likes of Kavishi Dillara also who can chip in and all that. But the problem is Sri Lanka's batting. Take out Attapattu.
And that's it.
That's it. She's literally a one-woman army in that sense.
Even as far as the batting goes.
Even the ball.
Actually, even with the ball, yeah.
She's a very good bowler, and also she took, I think, 2 wickets and conceded very little at that time. So, get rid of Attapattu and tackle her. That's it. India have managed to ensure that they have one step closer to the gold medal. But batting.
That's what I'm saying. I know slow track, it'll always get slower. But you'd like to know what you're chasing. So, maybe they're going in with the mantra of try and get maybe 150
Yeah.
I think 150 would be a winning total on the way this pitch has behaved.
But remember, Sri Lanka's batters, even in the England series, let me give you a caveat. They did not chase down 150 plus. It was only 110, 120.
That's what I'm saying. I think you get to 150 and you're good.
Exactly.
Because again, I think they will struggle against Pooja Vastrakar early on.
Yep. And they have made some changes.
Oh.
India women. The India women's playing 11 is out. It's Smriti Mandhana, Shefali Verma, Jemima Rodriguez is there, Harmanpreet Kaur, she's back as the captain, Richa Ghosh is the wicket keeper. Then you've got Deepti Sharma, Devika Vaidya, Amanjot Kaur, Pooja Vastrakar, under 19 star Titash Sadhu.
Oh, Titash Sadhu is there.
Titash Sadhu is in, and there is Rajeshwari Gaikwad.
Yeah, Titash Sadhu has played in some matches. See, she's right here.
Yeah,
so I don't think she's in per se. I think she's
but she's getting a much more
she's getting an extended run, which is good.
So Titash Sadhu, the under 19 champion, is in the team, and so remember, Titash Sadhu and Shefali Verma are one of the only members to have won a major ICC event at this time.
In fact,
the under 19.
Yeah, Shefali was in fact the skipper.
The skipper, yes. And so was Richa Ghosh.
Actually, yes.
Even Richa Ghosh was also
was
there.
part of that same 11. Yeah.
So this is a golden opportunity for India to ensure they break.
And look, on paper, this is a very strong side. This is probably the one of the strongest sides in the women's side. Not even kidding.
Yep.
Because again, if you're talking about Asia, maybe Pakistan, but even their women's team is actually pretty weak.
See, India are the strongest team, and then there is the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Commonwealth Games, why did India struggle? Because
Australia,
the Southern Stars, one of the greatest teams in sport, if I may say. The Australia women's cricket team is in fact one of the strongest ever in the world. I would put them even above the Australia men's team.
When it comes to dominance.
Dominance, exactly. And they have set new benchmarks. And Australia sport at this point in time is facing a big crisis. Not just their men's team are getting hammered just before the World Cup. Even the Wallabies, the Australian rugby team, are on the brink of elimination from the World Cup.
And in fact, the cricket thing is very concerning because people kept talking about favourites this, favourites that. But they've lost 5 ODIs on the trot now.
They could
5
do
ODIs
6.
on the trot, exactly.
And that is not an ideal preparation for a World
Yeah,
Cup.
no matter how good the players are coming back, you do not want to be going into a World Cup having lost, even if it's not 6, even if it's still 5. Or even if it's not, 5 it is right now. Even if it's 5. Do you really want to be entering a World Cup with a 5-match losing streak? No.
That's really, and remember, every time at 2021 might not happen. You lost 8 out of 10, but then you won the World Cup. But this time also, if a slump comes, a slump comes.
And in ODI cricket, generally speaking, momentum is much harder to turn around than in, say, T20 cricket. Because T20 or T20I is obviously shorter format. You can expect quick turnarounds. ODIs, once it sets in that rot, it's a massive issue.
Yep. So we are awaiting the Sri Lanka 11, although I think it will be the same as the previous match.
I don't think there'll be too many changes.
In that. But yeah, I mean, Smriti Mandhana, Shefali Verma, Jemima, Harmanpreet and Richa Ghosh along with Deepti Sharma. Wow. 7 proper batters and all offering a variety of grace, style, power and depth. Man, that Indian batting, good luck to the Sri Lankan bowlers in trying to get through them.
Yeah, because again, 7 proper batters, that gives you an advantage that early on you might just see, I hope, let's see, a little bit of aggression in the power play, because I think once the field spreads out, then you might actually struggle to...
The only advantage might be if the pitch assists the spinners.
Yeah.
Then you can curb the stroke play of maybe Mandhana, then you can curb the stroke play of Harmanpreet. Jemima is adaptable, she can bat in both pace, she's comfortable pace and spin.
Correct.
But if the pitch is very sluggish and if Sri Lanka can keep India to around 120-ish,
then they're in the game.
Even
no two ways
130
about
would
it.
be a big task.
Yeah.
So that is why...
For India, 150, I think.
150,
once you get to that benchmark, I think this team will struggle because again, beyond Chamari Atapattu, there's not that much reliability in their batting.
That's the problem. Okay, maybe Hasini Pereira can chip in. She's in the middle order, she can chip in and she did well in England. But again...
Consistency is a problem when it comes to them.
Time.
Consistency.
Consider this. They last won in July 2022, Sri Lanka against India. That was in Dambulla and that... I think it was an Asian Cup match. I don't know if it was a tri-series or a competition. I'm not so sure about it. But the problem for Sri Lanka is that big game pressure. Can they handle big game pressure?
Yeah, I mean, what's the last big game they would have probably played? That's the thing. Generally speaking, when it comes to ICC or even ACC tournaments, they're not really that much in the reckoning, the women's team.
Although, in the recent past, if you look at it, the Sri Lankan team have caused some upsets. For example, in the 2022 T20 World Cup that happened in South Africa, There they beat South Africa. So that is why they can cause a bit of an upset here or there. But against India, the pressure quotient is way too high. Remember, Sri Lanka men's team, they were absolutely decimated for 50. And that same mentality, maybe, okay, Sri Lanka women's team haven't played for so long. Can we get into the groove against India?
That might be difficult. There's no two ways.
Very difficult. So I'll just see. We don't have the Sri Lankan playing 11 as of yet. So
interesting.
I think in the next 10 to 15 minutes anyway, we are going to see.
Yeah, action starts in about 14 minutes time
14
actually.
Minutes. But yeah, Harmanpreet Kaur's return will be very, very important. So that is the thing. Can we get some comments if there are any?
Yeah, we'll take a few of those and then
if there are any.
In fact, let's just check it from our phone only rather than.
Yep. Well, but if you have to look at Sri Lanka, are the only side to have completed both their quarterfinals and semi-finals. So they have at least
they at least have match practice.
They at least have a bit of match practice. But at this point, it's very small. I mean, they are the.
We don't have anything as far as comments go either. Just Saidatu telling us that India are batting first.
Saidatu is always.
Thanks for the update, Saib.
Yeah, thanks for the update.
So we'll take your leave for now, but of course we'll be joining you through the day. Plenty happening really in the Asian Games. You'll be having a medal event in the men's 25 meter. Is
25 meter rapid fire.
25 meter rapid fire pistol. You'll be seeing a gold medal, or it's a medal event. Let's say. Hopefully gold will be tough, but
difficult.
It's very difficult
because again, you're facing up to a behemoth called China.
Exactly. So shooting, but the hope is always there. Yeah, exactly. So, but it is a medal event. We'll keep you updated as and when that happens. Of course, don't forget Asian Games, the women's cricket final, also a medal event, because even if the unthinkable happens and India lose, it's still technically a silver medal. But of course, we're going for gold and hoping that you can get gold. So thank you guys for joining us. Please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tap that bell, leave us a comment.
We got one football fan club. India is the favorite.
Yeah, of course, no two ways about it. Yeah. But we've seen pressure do funny things to this team sometimes. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Yep. Do agree though they're favorites. So thank you guys for joining us. Please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell, leave us a comment, follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Download the SportsTech app. You'll get plenty of highlights as well as analysis over there. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos and stay tuned. For now though, from Siddharth and me, it's bye-bye.